Hi Scrappy friends, a big welcome to my YouTube channel today. I am sharing 4 cards that I created for Traci Reed Designs using the beautiful candy coated Christmas collection. This video is a bit longer than normal and I am showing you my process for designing the cards in Silhouette Studio. I think that a lot of us are not really aware of all of the capabilities, myself included, that our software is able to do. And so I thought I would show you how I design some projects in Silhouette Studio. So what I've got here is a screen recording. The first thing that I did was set my registration marks and set them to the lowest setting that I can have them. I will say right now that I did print all of my pattern papers through Photoshop because I knew that I would be able to print edge to edge, and I just cut them down myself. If you do have the preference of using a Cameo to cut it, then obviously you can, but you do have to make sure you allow that print border. But yeah, so I did use a different program to cut them so that I wasn't wasting anything. What I have done here is pulled in the pattern papers. So I'm using the 4x6 cards. They're a pretty good size, pretty close. Well, they are the same size as the Australian size, kind of standard card size. I think it's A6. And I'm going to use those as my bases. And you can see I've gone into the sticker files, and I'm going to, I've gone into the individual files. I'm going to pick out the pieces that I want to use, drag them into the Silhouette software, and resize them until I'm happy with the way that they're looking. I don't show you this whole process. You can see there was a bit of back and forward about what I wanted to do and exactly how I wanted to do it. But I'm just placing the layers on here and going, yep, I'm happy with that, changing the size, moving things. And when I'm happy with it, you'll see I grab the pieces that are going to go together and move those off to the side, and then move on to my next card. Now, you probably noticed in the photos that were right at the beginning that my cards do end up looking different. There was a little bit of time between when I set all this up and I had it all cut. There was a bit of time between that and me actually being able to sit down and create the cards. That's okay though. I'm happy with how they ended up turning out in the end. And yeah, I mean, this collection was created to work together, and it works beautifully together. So you can see I'm working on my second base here, going through the individual stickers again. You can see I'm playing with like 2 different patterns for the card base, and I'm just like resizing them so they lay nicely on top of each other. And it's just a matter of scrolling. I click onto whichever sticker I want to use and drag that into my software. So Happy Christmas for this one. I did try that label behind it, but I was just like, yeah, I'm not loving that. So I do end up thinking that I'm going to use a doily, which you do see my process. I do paint a doily green, but the card base ends up different. So I'm just going to keep going through this process for you so you can see exactly what I'm doing. What I might do is, while this is all happening, I might pop on some music for you, and I'll come back when there's more I need to talk about. Alright, so I wanted to show you this next bit here. I've got this sticker that says, may your days be merry and bright, but I just wanted to say, may your days be. So firstly, I'm going to zoom in on that in just a sec. This is real time. And then I've got my knife tool here. All I'm doing is going to above the sticker and below the sticker, holding the shift key down, and it gives me a straight cut line. You can see I didn't go, you've got to go over the edges and then it will cut it. So try that again, up, above and straight down. So holding that shift key and cutting right where that is. Then I can select the right hand side, delete that off. My edges are not quite even, so I'm going to go back in and do exactly the same thing on the left hand side. So again, my knife tool, positioning it where I want it, holding the shift key and dragging my mouse down, and then I can delete the extra part. And there we go. So now I've got that piece exactly what I wanted to say. It's not doubling up saying, may your days be merry and bright, merry and bright. It's saying, may your days be merry and bright. And I'm happy with that one. And I think that is the last card that I designed. Yeah, so from here, I'm going to place all of the bits that I need to cut onto my cutting mat. I do kind of show you this really quickly, but not the whole process from start to finish. And then I end up filling the page with even more bits from this collection because it is just adorable and gorgeous and I love it. And I'll use those in other projects. So you can see I'm just placing everything onto this cutting mat and printing onto A4 paper, and I will just send that through to my Cameo. Now, this was the page when it was finished and what I ended up with as basically die cuts. As I started assembling my cards, I was like, I actually want to add dimension, and a much easier way to do that is to cut extra layers. Now, if it was a die, I would just run it through my die cut machine, but the beauty of doing it this way is I can make it a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. So what I've done is I've got rid of all of the extra pieces. Then I've gone in, I have released the compound path on everything so that I've got my individual like boxes and things to work with. And then I have filled them with white so that I'm not trying to print them. I'm just going to get the card. It doesn't matter if you don't fill them with anything, because if you just run it back through your machine, your Cameo, rather than through the printer, you're not going to get the print. I hope that makes sense. I am going to cut these on some Nina Solid White 110 pound because it is nice and thick and sturdy. And you can see here I have got 3 copies of everything. I am going in now and selecting 1 copy of everything. I'm going to take it from this mat. I've started a new page and paste onto this mat, and I'm doing an offset on these single ones. I decided I wanted to add some gold, so the offset I ended up doing was 0.08, and then I'm going to go in, delete the internal lines, so I don't want to cut those little tiny pieces in the middle. So I'm going to go in and do that, and then I'm going to go through and delete each of the internal cut lines. I've gone back now to that first sheet that I had, and I'm going to do an internal offset this time. Now this means I can make it a little bit smaller than the original pieces I cut, so I don't need to be 100,000% precise when I stick them together so there's no overhang. But it does give me a little bit more sturdiness, and it gives me a little bit of dimension. So yeah, I think for this one I ended up making them like 0.030 maybe 0.25 offset, and that's the internal offset. And then I'm going to go back in and delete off all of the external lines on this one so that I'm left with just those internal pieces. So you can see there I'm just clicking on them and deleting them, doing the last one there, and then I'm going to send it to cut, I think. What am I doing? I'm sure I'm doing something. I think I'm probably trying to work out what I need to do next. Oh, so I had to rearrange them onto the right size cardstock, sending that through to my Cameo, and here is what I got left. So like I said, I did print my papers through my Photoshop program, and here are my ephemera pieces. So you can see they're still on my sticky mat. I'm going to peel all those off, separate the ones that I need for my cards from the ones that are extras, and then I'm going to start assembling these. Now, I could have gone back and watched the footage to work out exactly how I had all these cards set up, but I was like, you know what? This whole collection works beautifully together. I'm just going to wing it, and we'll see what we end up with. So you can see I'm just pulling out the pieces. I have a reasonably good idea of what goes with what. The thing that I couldn't remember was which papers went with which. So it's not a big deal in the end. I'm going to work out all of the placement for all of the bits I've got here. Then off camera, I'm going to stick all my layers together. I do leave me sticking the layers together on one card in, just so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So I've also got some card blank fronts here, just to add a bit more sturdiness and dimension to the paper layers. I didn't do the very back paper layer because that was being stuck directly onto the card, and you can see there I'm just sticking down that extra layer piece behind there. Here is my gold, and then just kind of line that up, sorry for my head, so that there's a fairly even border all the way around. And you can see there how the extra piece I cut is kind of a bit smaller. Working out the placement of this one, I'm like, yep, that's what I want. I'm going to make my doily green. I am using a Shimmers paint. I cannot remember the colour, but I mean, see how easy it is. Obviously I can add extra layers of colour and it will deepen it up. I use my scissors to lift it off the paper here because I don't want to tear it, and I know that if I don't move it, it is going to stick. Use my heat gun, dry that off, and we've got a green doily. So I'm just going, so I use my score buddy here to attach all my layers. I start by, I've got glue on my card base. Every now and then, I don't know how, but it's not 100% lined up, and this is how I fix it. So I've got that card base all done. I'm just going to use my scissors to trim off the front. Then I'm going to pull out my little paper trimmer, I think, and chop off the excess. So nice and easy. You can see on that side I do have to be a bit more forceful, and then I'm just going to use some wet glue and stick all of my pieces down. I don't make you watch all of that. In fact, I think I just put this one together and then I show you all of them. I show you a little bit of me adding some sequins. But yeah, if you have any questions, I hope my process has made sense. If you have any questions, especially about any of the Silhouette software stuff, let me know. I'm more than happy to help out. It is super fun learning what you can do with this and really making your machine work for you. Oh, I'm just using punches there to weigh everything down. So all my cards are assembled now. I'm going to go back in with some, what are these called? Sequins, my apologies, from Spiegelmum Scraps. This is the gold medallion mix. I think that's available in one of the pigment splash kits at the moment, but I think they're available separately as well. I'm going to show you my finished cards. That one's got the stars on it. I really love how these turned out. I did end up adding some gold splatters to this one, and then to this one as well. They just felt a bit empty, so a few splatters to those. Like I said, thank you ever so much for stopping by. I hope that you've enjoyed my share today, and yeah, I hope that you've learned something with my Cameo tutorial. I'm not exactly sure when this is going live, so if it hasn't happened yet, have a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and safe New Year. If it hasn't if it has already happened, I hope that you are well, and I look forward to sharing my next video with you.